In today's video, I want to talk about the first step to reaching financial freedom, and that's getting out of debt. Let's dive right in. This isn't necessarily a video that I thought I would ever shoot a video on because I was always somebody that kind of struggled with debt. A little bit of my backstory. My wife and I, when we got married, I was making really good money. So we didn't really have to worry about a budget. We're both pretty frugal, I would say, but I do like nice things and we do like to travel and eat out. So not necessarily like your, penny pinching, cutting coupon kind of thing, but not spending money on dumb stuff either. I'm not somebody who needs designer clothes or, giant TV or that kind of stuff. But we kind of had this weird thing happen where we got married pretty young. We got married at 20, and every year after we got married, it was I was making less and less and less and less money. My last year as a W-2 employee, I made about 22 grand. And we went from kind of this where do you want to go? What do you want to do? To okay, what's a budget? One of the big things I noticed was every single month, my credit card balances were climbing, right? And we're not talking anything insane, but an unexpected expense here or there. Maybe I wanted to go out to eat and didn't necessarily have the cash for it here and there. Kind of got me to a position where I was really, really feeling the weight of debt. We've all heard the expression that, it's actually from the Bible, whoever you're in debt to, you're basically that's your master. You're the servant to that person. And I think that's a really good analogy, because I found myself, before I found real estate investing, in a place that I got up to go to a job I hated, to pay for a car that I didn't really love, to just break even every month. And it's not the most fun place to be in the entire world. I think the first step to getting out of debt is realizing how you got there in the first place. I'm a big believer of a somewhat controversial topic, which is personal responsibility. My wife says I take this even a step too far, but I believe if I left my house today, got in a car accident, that I was totally not at fault of, I made decisions that put me in that position, right? I'm not taking responsibility for the other driver, but I'm also not going to be a victim in that role because I drove a certain speed, I took a certain route that put me in that precise moment in time. My wife thinks that's nuts, but that's just kind of how I view things. So the first thing you've got to do is look at your finances and just have an honest conversation. If you're single, this is with yourself. If you're married, this is as a couple, of what got us here. Was it kind of what I mentioned, just kind of slowly, honestly, living beyond your means, right? Going out to eat maybe a little more often than you should. Was it unexpected expenses, right? Medical, something came up, car broke down. Now, I take this back to the personal responsibility angle. You had an unexpected expense. Did you have an emergency fund built up, right? I'm not somebody who car breaks down and I'm oh, woe is me. It's well, okay, I should have been planning or budgeting for this. So I think that's the first step, is just kind of being honest about how you got to where you're at before we start looking to how to get to where you want to go. This is where I differ from a lot of people that I believe are in the financial space. I'm not a big fan of okay, I will never go to Starbucks, I'll never go out to eat, I'll never go on a date night, I'll never take any trips. I'm just gonna live at home, be a hermit, and pinch pennies. And if I do that for 2, 3, 4, 5 years, I can pay off my debt. I can save $2,000 a month, whatever it is, right? The reason that I'm not a fan of your pinch pennies, try to save stuff here and there. To be blunt, I think that process can work. The Dave Ramsey approach. I have my own opinions on Dave Ramsey, but I think it's great for a lot of people. But I personally believe the first step to getting out of debt and doing it quickly is you've got to stop trading your time for dollars. So what do I mean by that? If you're somebody that, let's say me, you're in that position where every month you're noticing you're getting a little deeper, a little deeper, a little deeper, and you're an hourly employee. Well, okay, you need to cut anything unnecessary to like stop digging a hole, but how do you dig your way out of that? If you're not going to get a raise at work or not get bonuses or anything like that, is it just like, okay, I now have to pay off all this stuff over the next 5 years and then I'll be back at square one? I'm a lot more of a fan of either finding a job or a side hustle that allows you to make money based off of the opportunities you're generating, not how many hours you're putting in. So like, what would some jobs look like for that? Something sales based, right? Could be like real estate agent or a realtor. You're getting somebody into a house, so you're getting, them the opportunity they're looking for. It could be doing something like merchant account processing. I hate to throw this one out there, but whether you like it or not, the whole multi-level marketing thing can be great, can be huge if you have a social media following that you can leverage. I've got a friend of mine's wife who pulls in north of 6 figures a year through one of like the makeup companies, right? So those are kind of some jobs. Let's chat through kind of a couple side hustles that you could potentially do to pull in some extra cash pretty quickly. So how I personally did it was wholesaling houses. I'm gonna do more of like a basic video on what wholesaling is at like a stupid beginner level, like a for dummies level of this is how this works. But in a nutshell, I was finding really ugly properties and getting them in front of somebody who wanted them and getting paid based off of how big of a discount I was able to get that person. If you're not familiar with my story, I mentioned earlier I was making like 21, 22K a year. At that time, I wholesaled one house, made 10,000 bucks. Took a couple hours of my time. I risked a couple grand in marketing to find it, but in a couple hours, I made what I was making in 6 months. That for me was like light bulb moment of like, okay, what am I doing, right? Another example of this could be something like finding cars. If it's something that you're passionate about. So I've got a buddy of mine who's really big into like Lamborghinis, Ferraris, that kind of stuff. And he just started a side hustle while in college of trying to find cars for people based off of what they're looking for. People that are into exotics tend to have like, I want this specific color with this specific options. And he's literally going out hunting for those vehicles to try to find them for the people that are wanting to buy them, and building in a fee for himself where he's getting paid based off of getting them what they want. Another example of this could be something like learning how to run Facebook ads or Google ads for a business and charging them some sort of an hourly rate or fee. Plus, you normally get like a percentage of the budget they're spending or a percentage of the results they're generating. Other examples of this could be something like affiliate marketing. You've got a tool or a product or a service that you really believe in. First Form does this really, really well. They're like supplements and stuff for athletes. You go out and tell other people about it in exchange for getting a small commission for any orders that are made, right? I don't think First Form actually pays commissions. I think you get like free shipping and free products, but could be doing something like that. Another option, maybe you're good at like design or copywriting. There's businesses like myself that will pay somebody to like, hey, I'm going to put this post out, make it better, right? I don't know if I should throw this out or not, but I've got copywriters that I pay anywhere from like 50 cents to $1 a word or more. And I've got one guy that I'm bringing on at a very high annual salary to do it for us as well. So it could be learning a new skill set, or it could be leveraging something you've already got. Maybe you've played around on like TikTok or Instagram and have built up a little bit of a following. You can find other businesses in your niche and show them, hey, here's how I've been able to do this, and help them with it in exchange for some sort of a fee or income, right? So the first step, in my opinion, to getting out of debt, to getting into financial freedom, is you've got to stop trading your time for dollars, unless you're like a doctor, right? If you're getting hundreds of dollars an hour, if you're an attorney, okay, great, that makes a lot of sense. But for most people, I didn't go to college, I don't have a GED or diploma. I'm not somebody that like would normally, if I hadn't gotten into business, into entrepreneurship, I wouldn't command a high like hourly rate. My last W-2 job, actually, when I quit, my employer told me that I was worth less than minimum wage, and the most frustrating part of having me as an employee was that he had to pay me $7 for an hour. nice guy, right? So kind of just in closing on this, there's 3 things that people will pay a lot of money for, or you can make a lot of money doing. First one is like make money opportunities. If you're doing something that can potentially help other people make more money or keep more money, those are always like good niches to be in. So marketing, tax planning, anything, advertising, anything where you can take somebody who's got, $10,000 and help them grow it to 100K or something. That's a good industry to be in. Another one is going to be like health and wellness. So whether that's, supplements or personal training or, any of those kinds of niches. So like if any of that resonates with you, you might want to look for a product that you can, push or find people that are looking for that's in that niche. And then the last one that I see is like to stay out of trouble or stay out of jail. So things like asset planning, financial planning, anything that's more like a CYOA. So if you're watching this and you're like me, it's probably a little bit of a paradigm shift for you. I know it was for me, of kind of this thought process of like not having to work by the hour, kind of building up money and letting your money work for you. But I believe the first step in that is you've got to stop trading your time for dollars. Once you get that figured out, the sky really is the limit. I personally had about $35,000, $40,000 in personal debt. And that wasn't just like credit card stuff of me like swiping dumb things. I funded my startup into business, into entrepreneurship with credit cards. I didn't come from money. I didn't get like a loan from family or anything like that. So it was kind of like me buying products, me buying courses, me trying things, me paying for services. And then I simply just personally had months that like the business didn't do so hot, but my bills were still what they were. Thank you for taking the time to hang out with us and watch today's video. My goal is to really help those of you guys that are in that position of like struggling with debt to reach financial freedom. It was really what got me into business, into entrepreneurship, into real estate. Was I don't want to live this life of like just breaking even, of just scraping by, of needing to like budget and save and skimp for a year so I can take a week off. That just didn't sound appealing to me. So hopefully you've got a little bit of a mindset shift, and hopefully the gears are turning a little bit of like, okay, what are some things I know or some things that I could do to stop trading my time for dollars and get paid based off of the opportunities that I'm finding. My name is Ryan Dossey. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Be sure to like and subscribe if you did. I'll talk to you next time.